I request all the participants to mute your audio and as well as video to get a free flow of this session. The participants are joining. Meanwhile, we'll start. They will join, by the way. Right. Good morning. On behalf of St. Joseph Institute of Technology and Department of Mechanical Engineering, it's my absolute honor to extend a warm word of welcome to each one of you. You all been here on this Saturday morning for this webinar on the topic Parametric Design and Optimization Techniques using ANSYS. Stands a proof of your brain starving to learn new things. Your continuous support makes us to showcase different set of intellectual webinars that can definitely serve you enough for the hunger of your brain. Our St. Joseph group of institution has compiled and amplified and grown in many fields over the past 25 years and successfully crossed its silver jubilee. And we are into its 26th year. I strongly believe growth is not an horizontal, vertical dimension. It is also a horizontal phenomena. So when growth happens, inclusiveness must happen. The dynamic gentleman behind the growth of this institution, our beloved chairman, Dr. B. Babu Manoharan, whose tireless efforts makes us to give our 100%. It's always heartening to mention our beloved managing director, Mrs. Jessie Priya, and beloved director, Mr. Sashi Shekhar, whose propulsive ideas drive us forward. I take this opportunity to thank our beloved principal, Dr. P. Ravichandran, for his continuous support and motivation. I'm honored to welcome our speaker for today's session, Mr. Nagendran G, Director, Cadam Technologies Private Limited, design consultants for various companies. To give an intro about the speaker, he is having 20 years of mechanical design and training experience in the field of structural design, validation using finite element analysis, which comprises of major automobiles, marine, and home appliance products. To explore his experience, he is having an experience in carrying out structural, thermal, and vibration analysis using finite element codes. He is also having hands-on experience on auto engine assembly products. He is also having work experience on bolted joint flange design, piping frame design, and fatigue life estimation of turbines. He has done automation using APDLs or scripting language for innovative and productive improvement projects. He has good experience in non-linear analysis procedures and methodologies. He has worked for marine engine manufacturing like Vitus Netherlands. He is currently working in vibration analysis of shaft for an automotive client and is also working for automatic and Bluetooth enabled home appliance products. He is a good consultant for research scholar as well. We are very much honored to welcome you, sir. With further no delay, I'm welcoming Mr. G. Nagendran, Director, Cadam Technologies Private Limited, to take over the session. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Ranjit. Thanks for the nice introduction about me. So, good morning to all the viewers. This is Nagendran from Cadam Technologies Private Limited. So, before going for the subject, first I would introduce my company, Cadam Technologies Private Limited. So, Cadam Technologies Private Limited, an ISO 9001-2000 certified 20 years old company specialized in providing training and engineering services like product design and modeling, finite element analysis, of course, computational fluid dynamics and analysis. We also authorized resellers for PDC products like Creo and ANSYS products, like around 76 products we are deals with an ANSYS. So ANSYS and Bentley Stat Pro, of course, we are selling the product like 3D printers also. So we partnered with MSME as well as NSDC for National Skill Development Corporations. We recently tied up with TIMA for engineering services and placements. So TIMA is Tirumudivakam Industrial Estate Manufacturer Association. Around 367 companies are doing their engineering manufacturing in Tirumudivakam area. So we signed a NDA and a MOU with TIMA people for providing consultancies as well as engineering services. We also signed a NDA with Secular Aerospace Technologies for engineering services for aerospace products, as well as Ranjit sir said, from the 2008 onwards, we are doing marine-related projects with Vitas Netherlands. So what are the engineering services currently we are dealing with? Legacy data and data conversion, conceptual design, 2D and 3D modeling, assembly, platform migration, mold design, as well as fixture design, manufacturing simulation, that is NC code generation, reverse engineering, 3D printing, FE and FE. So our prestigious clients, Vitas Netherlands, Preeti Home Appliances, Coaterages for sheet metal products, Secular Aerospace for aerospace design, Bogoner for automotive projects, Southern Agro Engines for agriculture engine design oriented projects, Taffe Tractors, also Alpha TKG from Japan for sheet metal design works. So these are the small introduction about my company. So today my topic is the design parameters and optimization techniques using ANSYS. So today actually I don't want to teach more theoretical information about finite element analysis. I think moreover the viewers have went to a lot of theoretical information about finite element analysis. So the main agenda of this program is today. What do you want? Yeah. So overview of ANSYS workbench for structural analysis and how it is connected with the connecting softwares like Creo, CATIA, and SolidWorks. Geometry pre-processing, that is geometry cleanup using ANSYS space claim or ANSYS design modeler, meshing, material support, boundary condition setup, types of analysis, post-processing, like getting the results from solved results like stress, strain, deformation, everything. And finally, optimization techniques, that is direct optimization, shape optimization, and topology optimization. So let us start with ANSYS workbench. Generally, the procedure or steps involved in finite element analysis, you may aware that first you have to define the type of analysis we are going to do it and develop a CAD model. Either we can create a CAD model from any CAD modeling tools like Creo, CATIA, SolidWorks, or NX, or the geometry is very smaller geometry, we can create it using ANSYS space claim or ANSYS design model. Nowadays, ANSYS design model and ANSYS space claim are creating a geometries like a parametric softwares like a Creo, CATIA, and SolidWorks. Then you have to define an element type, mesh the model. Meshing is nothing but your discretize the model or converting your solid model into finite element model, then applying the metal properties and boundary condition, drive element matrices and equation using solutions, then solve the unknown parameters at nodes and interpret the results using post-processor. So let us start with the ANSYS workbench. So this is ANSYS. Today I want to cover a lot of optimization techniques like design optimization and shape optimization as well as topology optimizations. So this is your ANSYS workbench environment. ANSYS workbench environment, we can call it as it's a multiphysics environment. Why I'm saying it's a multiphysics environment? So ANSYS workbench itself, you can do your CFD analysis, then you can integrate the CFD analysis result into the thermal, and the same you can add the thermal results into ANSYS structural. Then using optimization techniques, we can optimize the part also. That is the reason why I'm saying. So ANSYS workbench is, we can call it as an ANSYS multiphysics environment. So in this ANSYS multiphysics or ANSYS workbench itself, so a lot of analysis you can do that from the start, from your very scratches, from your static structural and static structural itself. We have a linear and a nonlinear analysis uh, for frequency response analysis. Within this frequency response platform itself, we have a harmonic response is there, random vibration analysis is there. Again, you have a transient dynamic analysis. For if you want to solve the fluid analysis, CFD related analysis, you have a CFD, CFX is there, CFD fluid is there, ISM CFD also there. So let us start with the graphical user interface of ANSYS workbench. So I have a small geometry. For solving purpose, I'm not going to handle any big geometry. I just created a small shed angle bracket. So this model has been created using SolidWorks environment. So initially, I'm going to do the surface analysis using ANSYS workbench. So why I'm preferring surface analysis or mid-surface analysis using ANSYS than solid analysis. Well, later I'll tell you what is the advantages of doing surface analysis than solid analysis. So if the component is going to be a minimal thicknesses or it's like a sheet metal products, better you can do the surface analysis instead of solid analysis. So this is like a sheet metal product. So shed angle bracket. I'm just exporting whenever if you want to export the component into our ANSYS environment, if you're going to export a surface, suppose we created a geometry in SolidWorks or Creo or CATIA itself as a surface component, you just export in surface IGS format. If you have a license like a direct association like license between your SolidWorks and the ANSYS, directly you can import the SolidWorks, that is, I mean, not SLDPRT into ANSYS environment. Otherwise, you have to convert the SolidWorks or Creo part into some neutralized format. So what about neutralized format? We can use it in for importing the products in ANSYS. If you are going to do or if you are going to export surfaces, use IGS. If you are going to deal with the solid related problem, you just convert the native format into dot step or parasolid format. So the compatible for my experience, I'm saying that is for deals with the surface techniques, you can convert into IGS format. For do a solid related problem, you convert into either dot STP, that is, I mean, step or parasolid, that is dot XT format. Now this geometry is in SolidWorks environment. I'll save us like a I'm saving as like a dot step format in dot step AP 2003 dot ST format and save it. Now I'll go to ANSYS environment. So this is our ANSYS workbench environment, or we can say this ANSYS workbench or ANSYS multiphysics environment. In this environment, here you have a toolbox selection. In this toolbox selection environment, so you have to select what type of analysis we are going to do. So suppose I'm going to do the static structural analysis. I'm selecting from the toolbox environment. So static structural analysis, I'm selecting this environment. You just drag and drop it over the project schematic environment. In this project schematic environment, you can include any number of analysis within this project schematic window. If you want to do static structural analysis or thermal or some other fatigue or transient, you can include it within this environment. So, or if you want to integrate the results to some other analysis also, you can integrate it. First, initially, I'm importing the geometry from my SolidWorks environment. You just select the geometry. right click, go to import geometry. I'm selecting my shed angle bracket simulation and select it. After selecting the geometry, next one is simplifying geometry, where I can simplify my geometry or where I can edit my geometrical feature in the analysis environment, that is in your space claim or ANSYS design model environment. So in this design, I'm selecting my design model is for my simplifying my geometry. It will open in your ANSYS design model environment. Here you have three environments. One is ANSYS main window or ANSYS project window. Another one is editing the geometry. And the third one is ANSYS mechanical window. In mechanical window, you are going to conduct an analysis. So this is in your ANSYS design model window. In this window, I'm just going to import my geometry from my SolidWorks. I can say import generate. So this is my geometry. So now the geometry is in transparent mode. I'm converting into frozen body transparency mode switched off. So now we are getting a solid. As already I told you, I'm going to extract surface from this solid geometry. So now I'll go to tools. So before extracting a mid surface, I'm just checking the element edge length. Sorry, the edge length of this geometry. Go to first, you convert the units into millimeter format. I'm selecting this particular edge. In the status bar, clearly you can see that the thickness equal to around 10.6 mm is there. And selecting this edge, it's showing around 19.05 mm is there. And I'm checking this element edge, sorry, geometrical edge. This is around 6.35 mm is there. So I'm going to validate only for my this L bracket. So I'm just suppressing my this I section. How you can suppress your geometry? You select the I section geometry, right click it. Here you have a suppress body. Here you have two options. One is suppress body, another one is hide body. If you are suppress the body, actually it will isolate from your analysis. It will not participate in your analysis. If you are saying hide body, it will hide it from your screen only, but it will include in your analysis. So I do not evaluate my I section. I'm going to evaluate only for my L section, sorry, my L bracket only. So I'm just suppress my body. Next. Now I'm going to extract the mid surface from the stiffener on my bracket. Now first I'm converting now this stiffener and bracket as a two different body. I'm converting this two body into single body. So you select this two body, go to form a new part. So it will become a separate single part. Now I'll go to tools, mid surface. So the lot of mid surface extraction methods are available in ANSYS. One is manual. So manual means so you have to select a two equal pairs. That is, suppose I have to select this surface and the opposite sides. The pair must be in equal shapes. But otherwise, you can go to automatic method. I'm saying automatic. In automatic method, you have to define a minimum threshold and the maximum threshold. So what is the minimum threshold and maximum threshold? The minimum threshold is what is the minimal thickness available in your geometry. Roughly 6.05 is my minimal thickness of my geometry. I'm saying minimum thickness equal to 5. And the maximum threshold is around 19.65 is there. I'm saying the maximum thickness equal to 20 mm. So within this minimum and the maximum threshold is thickness, the ANSYS will search as the surfaces. So it will extract from the entire solid geometry. Now I'm saying, so the method is called automatic. Minimum threshold I set it is around 5 mm and the maximum threshold equal to 20 mm set it. Now find phase pairs. Now I can say yes. Now it will searches the geometry and identify the what are the phase pairs available in the geometry. Now I can say generate. Now we can extract the surface from the solid in ANSYS. But here you see that due to mid surface extraction, So the gap is between your stiffness and L bracket. So using extends method or welding method, you can connect the two surfaces. Go to tools. I can say weld. This is not actual weld. Just join the two surfaces. I'm saying weld. I'm selecting weld to this surface. This bottom edge. See that edges are not connected over the L bracket. I'm selecting edges to connect. I'm selecting this particular edge. Apply faces to be joined. This face. I can say apply. I can say generate. So it will connect it to the selected faces. Again, I'm joining this surface. I'll go to tools, weld. I'm selecting this two edges. So if you want to select more than one edge, you just hold on your control button, apply. I can say faces to connect. This face, apply. I can say generate. So it will connect it to the surface. Now the geometry is told. So using how to simplify or editing the geometry in Design Molder. So now the geometry part is over. Now I will go to my ANSYS main window environment. So now I'm going to add the material to this analysis. Just using this engineering data, you can select the appropriate material from the ANSYS library. So in this ANSYS engineering data library, you have a lot of materials are available. You have a general materials. You can select all the general materials and the composite materials, your explicit dynamic materials, hyperelastic materials, rubbers. Everything is available. Initially, I'm just selecting my general materials area. Or if you want to create your own materials also, you can add it. Or suppose you are doing a project like composite materials. If you want to do material in ANSYS Granda, another software, that is it's allied software only. So I'm using ANSYS Granda. You can mix it two composite materials and you will get a properties also. Now I'm selecting general materials. My structural steel is the material I'm going to use for my analysis. I just selected. You are just this symbol will generate it. I'll go to project. Once you select the material, the engineering data will get a right symbol. Now I'm going to ANSYS mechanical window. You just double click the model to open the ANSYS mechanical window. So in this mechanical window, we are going to validate or we are going to assign the materials. You are going to define a mesh behavior, boundary condition, and get the results. So it will open in your mechanical window. So in this environment, see that you're getting your geometry. So this geometry environment, so we converted your solid model into surface model, but the only thing is you have to define a parameter or assign the thickness as a parameter to the surface model. So geometry by default, see that bracket automatically you are extracted a 6.35 thickness. So I'm accepting the same thickness equal to 6.35 bracket, this bracket and this one is around the thickness of this L bracket is around a 19.05 is the other surfaces are getting 6.35 m thickness. Now I am assigning material to this all the surfaces. I'm selecting the surfaces. So my material equal to structural steel. Now I'm going to mesh the component using this mesh. So right click mesh, I'm generating the mesh, or if you want to define some local settings or some global settings to the mesh, you can define the method of mesh. I'll go to define. I'm selecting the entire geometry first. Select all. Apply. So you can define either you need all. So now we are doing a surface mesh only. So either you have to do the quad or tri elements only. If it is going to be a solid modeling, you have to define your tetra or hexa hex dominant or quad dominant. Sorry, tetra dominant. Now I'm saying all quad or the possible quad and tri. Okay. Now I can say generate mesh. Okay. Again, I want to define a. I want to assign the material element. I want to reduce the size of the element. I'll go to mesh, insert sizing. So by default, the sizing is around 11.117 mm. Is there? See that the size is around 11.117 mm. Is there? I can say select all. I'm selecting the entire geometry. Apply. Now I'm assigning a. The size of the element is 5. Again, I'm meshing the geometry. Okay. Now we'll get the proper mesh receipt. Again, if you want to reduce the size, you can use a size using the size method. You can, or if you want to locally optimize a particular feature, also you can optimize it. Okay. Now I'm using. I'll go to static structural. I'm defining my boundary conditions. I'll go to fixed support. I'm fixing this two edges. These two circular edges. Apply. And I'm going to assign the load of around this L bracket is carrying around 2000 kg load of over this surfaces. So I'm converting this 2000 kg into pressure. So before that, I'm checking the surface area. The surface area is around 13,548 millimeters is there. So my load is I'm going to apply a load of 2000 kg. So 2000, I'm just converting my kg into forces, 2000 kg into roughly into 10, 9.81. So 20,000 kg. So I'm calculating like the overall load is for the pressure equal to force by area. So 20,000 divided by the surface area is around 13,548. So divided by 13,548. So totally you are getting a pressure of 1.47 megapascal. So now I'm going to apply the pressure, insert pressure over this surface, apply the pressure value equal to roughly I can say 1.5 megapascal. Okay. Now what are the results you get? I'm going to solution, insert deformation total, and I need a stress value, stress equal to my deformation, and I want a factor of safety also. So insert your stress tool. So this is I used structural steel. For structural steel, the factor of safety will be against the yield value. The yield value of structural steel is around 250 Newton per millimeter squared. So the factor of safety equal to your yield value divided by your design stress. So I'm solving the solution. Yeah. Now I'm getting the results of the total deformation equal to, due to the pressure value, we are getting the deformation of 0.13 and equivalent stresses we are getting around 133. The factor of safety equal to we are getting is around 1.87. That is your, already I told you. So your yield value of your structural steel is taken as a for factor of safety equal to the yield value of your structural steel divided by your the maximum stress due to your applied forces. You are getting a 1.8746 as the factor of safety value. Now suppose So now already I told you why I preferred a solid analysis instead of surface analysis means. Suppose I want to optimize this part. Now I'll come to my topic, the parameter and optimization techniques using ANSYS. That is the reason why I started this analysis. So I want to optimize a part, or I want to I want to increase my factor of safety instead of 1.87 into 3 or 4 value. So how it is possible? Again, if you do the analysis, if you have done analysis with the solid modeling techniques, you'll have to edit the thickness of the geometry in solid. So I'll show you the same analysis in solid modeling. Already I solved it. I'll show you the same model. So this is the model I done it both the solid modeling and the surface modeling techniques. If you want to increase the factor of safety of this material, this geometry, you have to increase the thickness of the property, thickness of the stiffener or the L bracket using your SolidWorks environment where you created your geometry. Again, you have to export the same geometry into ANSYS environment. You have to do the same parameters. See that this is I done it using solid modeling techniques. Both I'm getting the same results only. This is using solid modeling and this is using your surface modeling techniques. So now I want, as I already told you, that I want to optimize a factor of safety. If you conducted analysis in solid modeling techniques, again you have to go to your SolidWorks environment. You have to increase the thickness of the part. Again you have to export it. So you have to do the same procedure whatever did it now. But instead of doing like this, what I can do means I'm just converting my all the dimension into parameter in ANSYS. I'm just converting my all the dimensions. What does parameter means? Here I'll introduce my what is parameter. From this, so introduction to parameter management in ANSYS. So parameter management is analysis techniques to get required results, stresses and deformation for given parameter set. Parameter will be a geometrical dimensions or the results. So what are the input parameters? So what are the input parameters you can pass it to your ANSYS means your geometrical dimensions. The geometrical, where you can get the geometrical dimensions, if you are creating the geometry in ANSYS environment itself, you will get the geometrical dimensions. Or otherwise, if you have a direct association with your solid modeling, SolidWorks to ANSYS, you will get the geometrical dimensions. Otherwise, you cannot get the geometrical dimensions. And surface thickness, even your input loads are also your input parameter and the material properties. And what are the output parameters? So post-process results like stress, strain, stresses and strain and your deformation, factor of safety and mass extra will be your output parameters. Now you just see that how I'm converting this thickness parameter into parameter. I'm just selecting my all the geometry. I'm just selecting my all the geometry. Here you go to thickness. Here one thickness option is there. I'll show you here. Here on thickness, you just select this checkbox into convert this dimension into parameter in ANSYS. I converted all the thickness dimension into parameter. Same that I'm converting, this is my input parameter. Same that I'm converting this deformation value into parameter. I'm just selecting it. My maximum of 13448 is that I'm selecting into parameter format. Again, my equivalent stress, I'm converting this equivalent stress into my parameter. Maximum equal to 133 is that okay. Now the safety factor also I'm converting into parameter format. The safety factor minimum is 1.8746. I can say parameter. Now just go to your ANSYS main window, project window. Here, see that one parameter rows added to this main schematic area. Now I'm double click to parameter set. See that all the input parameters, your bracket thickness P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, and your output parameters like a deformation, equivalence, stress, safety factor, everything will be added as a input and output parameters. You can add any number of, in this right side, you can call it as a design points. In this design parameters, suppose I want, as already I told you, I want to increase my factor of safety instead of 1.85 into 3 or more than 3. So I can increase my bracket thickness into 10, and bracket thickness means stiffener thickness into 10, and this is I make it into 20. Like that, you can add n number of design points. Again, you can say, I want to increase the stiffener thickness into 15. Bracket thickness equal to, I want to maintain reduce into, you can create any number of samples, or we can call it as a design points. So instead of solving the geometry once again, you can add any number of design points like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So once after adding the design points, see that these things are your unknown values. Total deformation, equivalent stress, and the safety factor, everything is your unknown output parameters. Now we are adding the design points like your input parameters. After adding the design points, you can say update all design points. So automatically ANSYS will solve the entire design points. It will give you the required solution to you. So already I solved it. Again, it will take a lot of time. So I'll show you the solved one. See that. I'll go to parameter set. So what are the parameters I include? As already I told you, even for your the input, the load also, it will become a input parameter. And if you want to include the material property instead of structural steel, suppose if you want to use the aluminum alloy, or if you want to use the carbon alloy, if you want to check if the structural steel is my material, what is the factor of safety for the geometry? Or if aluminum alloy is going to be my material, what is the factor of my factor of safety for my geometry? Instead of repeatedly doing the analysis, you can include everything in your as a design points. You can solve the solutions. See that, like that, I added number of design point I added is so 2, 3, 4, 5 design points added. I changed my pressure value into, instead of 1 megapascal, I tried with 1.5, 2, and I changed the input parameters like a stiffness value, stiffness thicknesses, bracket thicknesses. Everything I changed. You are getting the value of. So after changing the value, if you're saying update all design points, you're getting the results based on your input value. See that after changing my thicknesses and my load, you are getting the factor of safety of, like, factor of safety is here is there. So this is your first one, 2.99. After changing the value, I'm getting the factor of safety of 1.95, 3.23, 1.99, 1.49. This is how to iterate the design parameters using design points in ANSYS. Otherwise, you have in your ANSYS, you have a direct optimization techniques, sir. In this direct optimization techniques, here you have a direct optimization techniques, sir. You can add your direct optimization techniques over here. In this, using the direct optimization technique, using direct optimization techniques, you have to define your objective and constraints. What is your objective? Your objective is, that is my objective should be factor of safety should be, or I'm seeking a target of the value of 2 or 3. Suppose I want to, my factor of safety should be 3. And what is your, so my objective is, I'm seeking my factor of safety into 3. How are you going to achieve it? Using your input parameters. So I'll show you a small presentation about this. What is optimization techniques. Previously, I explained about what is the design parameters, how we can use the design parameters in ANSYS. Next technique is ANSYS optimization. So what is the design optimization? So selecting the best design within the available means. So what is available? So, or we can say that design optimization is an engineering design methodology using a mathematical formulas design problems to support selection of the optimal design among many alternatives. Design optimization involves following the stages: variables, objective, and constraints. So I'll show you the small example. So objective is to reduce the weight of my beam. So, or we can call it as, instead of optimization, we can call it as of value engineering also. So objective is to reduce the weight of your geometry. And what is a constraint? So during my optimization, my stress value should not exceed the yield value, or I can say my length should not change. What is the how we are going to achieve the optimization? Using the design variable. The design variable is nothing but your length and the width of the geometry. I'm going to adjust my length of the width of the geometry. So I'm just adjusting my length and width of the geometry to get the objective of my reduce the weight. But the constraint should be my stress level should not, during my optimization, my stress level should not exceed my yield value. This is where optimization techniques in answers. The same procedure I followed for this optimization. This optimization, yeah. See that I defined that my factor of safety should be 3, and so you have to define your input parameters. So you have to define the lower bound and upper bound value. Suppose I can say my lower bound value of my stiffener equal to 5 and upper bound maximum goes to 10. You can define it. So within this range, ANSYS will create a number of number of samples and optimize it. Finally, it will give you the optimized geometry. But you can see only the value. You can see the values only, but you cannot visualize the geometry. This is called design optimization using ANSYS. So optimize the geometry. Anything I have I section optim. Yeah, I have I section optimization is there. See that after. So after optimizing my I section, so optimization is the factor of safety. I need a 2. So these are my optimized value, and the material data, the samples taken by the ANSYS. So next one is shape optimization ANSYS. This is what I want to show you in design optimization in ANSYS. Next one is shape optimization techniques in ANSYS. So what is shape optimization in ANSYS? So the shape optimization in ANSYS module is just you have to provide the loads, boundary conditions, and entering the percentage of weight reduction. Right? So in the shape optimization techniques, you have to provide the load, boundary condition, and entering the percentage of weight reduction. The results are computed from the mesh without specifying any limits for deflection or stress or frequencies. The results are directly appended. The optimization focused on uncritical sections which need to be reduced. So what is uncritical section means? I'll show you the small example about my shape optimization techniques. Initially, I'll have a solved example for that. So I'll take in the initially I want to introduce the rigid body dynamics in ANSYS also. What is the rigid body dynamics in ANSYS? So rigid body dynamics in ANSYS is the rigid body dynamics in ANSYS is just do the assembly level analysis in ANSYS. Yeah, the rigid body dynamics is nothing but doing a kinematic simulation between assembled component. So what is rigid body means? I'm just connecting all the components. I'll go to rigid body dynamics. I'll show you the results now. I'll show you the example. So here the rigid or flexible dynamic analysis, also we can know as a multi-body dynamics. So connection of parts via joints to simulate mechanism. So what are the results we are going to achieve it means the joint loads we can get it. So this is my geometry. So this is my geometry for my rigid body dynamics. One second. So this is my geometry For rigid body dynamics, for your kind information, the meshing is not at all required. So only thing is you have to create a joints between components. So what are the joints available in ANSYS? Here you have all the joints are there. So fixed joint is a revolute. If you want to create a mechanism like a 360 rotation about a particular axis, you have a revolute joint as a cylindrical. If you want to simulate both translation as well as rotation, you have a cylindrical joint as a only translation moment, you have a translation joint as a. I create a joints, I create a connection between two components using this joints. See that I created a joint like a cylindrical joint, revolute joint, three revolute joint, and one cylindrical joint. So the revolute joint between my crank and the connecting rod, and the cylindrical joint between my piston and my small end of connecting rod, and a revolute joint between my piston pin and my connecting rod. So after adding the joints in your analysis, so you no need to go for a mesh. See that I didn't mesh the component. You have to apply the rotational values. Either you have to apply it as a RPM, or we can apply it as a some. Suppose if you want to apply like a gas pressure over the value, we can say that I applied a remote forces over this area as well as remote displacement over this crank. So the driven is my crankshaft, and the remote forces are the gas pressure value applied over this piston. So due to this value, the mass will be transferred to the entire mechanism. Due to this mass and inertia, the geometry will get rotated. So already I solved this geometry. I'll show you the joint forces value. So what is the result you are going to get? The result is your joint loads. Generally in your ANSYS, maybe you would have worked in ANSYS. So before going for an analysis, you have to apply the load and you are getting the results. But using rigid body dynamic analysis, we can find out the loads. We can find out the joint loads between the joints. Then this load will be acting as a input load for another analysis. See that I created a joint and now I'm simulating the geometry. Yeah, I'm just simulating my geometry. So due to the joints between the components, already I told you that I've added a revolute joint, cylindrical joint to the between the components. Due to joints under the RPM value, the assembly gets rotated. So at the same time, what is the results you are going to get it? So the result is the joint forces. Yeah, 1 second. So due to the rotation, I want to find out the joint forces between my crankshaft and the connecting rod. See that? 1 second. Yeah. Will take a small. Yeah. Now see the forces acting, and due to the rotation, the forces in x direction clearly can the red color showing the x directional forces, and this green color is showing your y directional forces, and the z is the blue color showing your z axis force. What we can do after getting the forces from due to this rigid body dynamics, we can collect this load, this joint forces as an input load. Again, we'll go to another analysis. I can connect this input, the load, to my transient dynamic analysis. I'm going to connect a separate transient dynamic analysis for my connecting rod. The load is I received from my rigid body dynamics. So only thing is, each and every time it will open the new window. I'll close this one. So at the end of the session, you'll have a question and answer session also there. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Now, so I'm going to do the transient structural analysis for my connecting rod. The loads I received from my rigid body dynamic analysis. See that the beacon forces I received from my the value I applied got it from my rigid body dynamics. I applied directly over that this area and messing everything same. The geometry, this is my geometry, and I meshed using tetrahedral elements and applied a transient load of here received from my rigid body dynamics. Here I have fixed a displacement value. The result we are getting is the equivalent stress of around 14.33 megapascal and the deformation equal to 8. After getting this data, so now we are concentrating our shape optimization. After this getting this idea, so here see that the stress values are maximum only this particular points only. So the blue color is showing that is we can say lower value or that is almost the value of stresses in this blue color area will be a 0 only. So collecting this information, I'm going to conduct a shape optimization in ANSYS. So I'll go to shape optimization. In shape optimization techniques, you do the same analysis whatever you are doing for the static structural analysis. So you have to apply the loads, you have to apply the boundary condition, you have to mesh everything. So ANSYS will give you the idea about wherever the lower or wherever the dumped masses are available for the lowest stress values. See that the same geometry I'm taking for the same geometry from the rigid body analysis I'm taken. So I applied the same forces from my rigid body analysis loads and I applied the support also. Mesh everything is same using my shape optimization techniques. I can conduct an analysis. The software will give you the idea wherever the stress values are very minimal. So the software will identify and locate the area. This red color showing your the minimum stresses area. So you can isolate this surface also. So these are the areas. The stresses are very minimal. Or you can see the entire surfaces. You can convert this geometry into directly. You can export this geometry into STL format. The STL format is nothing but your stereolithographic format. You can export this the geometry into STL format. Then you'll have to do the modification or geometry modification using your SolidWorks or ANSYS space climb environment itself. After modifying the geometry, again you'll have to validate the geometry in ANSYS environment itself. See that? So first, initially I conducted a rigid body dynamics analysis. I incorporate the load to the transient structural analysis.